Welcome to What's the Book About? This is Quantum Connection by Travis S. Taylor. This is the story of a crazy man fighting to regain his sanity against a conspiracy he doesn't believe in a secret war that, well, the secret is that it saves the world. Set in a near-future United States, just before the end of the previous book, Warp Speed. Now, we are introduced to the main character, Steve Montoya, as his family is killed in a meteor strike that almost destroys the entire state they're living in, while he's away in a different state in college. Now, we fast forward several years as Steve has fallen into a deep depression over this, and he's dropped out of college, and he's working in a dead-end job at a local game store. Now, one day, this man named Larry Waterford comes into the store to get an old game console repaired so he can give it as a gift to his wife. Now, Steve, being the computer science and engineering student, is able to reconstruct it and the broken game disc that Larry brought in with it. Now, this feat of reverse engineering impresses Larry, and he offers Steve a job. Okay, so that's the spoiler-free introduction. Be warned, from here on in there may be a few spoilers. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. Now, the new job is for a defense contractor who specializes in reverse engineering classified materials. And Steve ends up befriending his boss, Larry, and ends up also managing to complete his college degree and battle his depression. One of the projects he ends up assigned to turns out to be a special communication device, a quantum connected device that ends up quickly escalating in security classifications until eventually Steve ends up having to be booted off the project. But that's not the end of his involvement with this particular piece of technology or the people behind it, because they kind of have their eye on him and, well, just a few other people. And after he's booted off, they end up abducting him, and Steve manages to escape and free one of the other abductees named Tatiana. Together they manage to kill the cell of people that were operating this classified technology, and they end up using this classified technology to their own ends and end up rejoining with the characters from the first book in order to put a stop to this secret conspiracy that's threatening humanity. Oh, I should mention the people that are running this technology. Yeah, they're little gray aliens. And he's not crazy to see them. They're the ones that have been interested in humanity for a very long time in a war in which humanity is just a single pawn. Okay, so this book can be a little bit heavy on the science and engineering. It's not overly heavy. It's not a hard science fiction novel where it's all about the science and engineering. And the author does add some little introductory bits and allegories to help someone who's not familiar with that kind of stuff to ease them into the concepts he brings up. If you are familiar with it, it can drag the story a little bit. Not enough to be a deal breaker, but it is a minor flaw in my opinion. Now, the author also uses science fiction references in this particular novel. And they're not just quoting movies to be interesting or cool. No, they're actual contextual background to help explain how the characters are thinking about what's going on. And it really works. Another thing that really works in this particular novel is Tatiana's and Steve's relationship. They find each other really quickly and make a quick bonding relationship in an intense situation, and eventually become lovers rather organically. Even if it might feel a little bit rushed, it does feel natural and it flows rather smoothly. Another smooth bit he put in is, well, he reveals a few secrets from the end of the previous novel, and if you haven't read the novel, this particular novel could stand on its own. There's one joke that you wouldn't get if you hadn't read the first book, but you still understand everything as the character experiences. And if you have read the first novel, when the character finds out these secrets, it is hilariously funny. So in the end, what is the book about? The power of friendship. Okay, go ahead, make your own little My Little Pony joke, feel free. But this is really the core of the book. You see, Steve's friendships with various people ends up changing not only his life for the better, but also everyone else's. It's Steve's friendship with Larry that pulls him out of his depression, that puts him in place to figure out the bit about the quantum connection computing device and end up saving the world. It's also his friendship with Tatiana that eventually gets them to be lovers, but it gives him the reason he needs to fight a foe that is vastly superior and outnumbers humanity. And it's his making a friend of Michael, who I can't tell you who he is without spoiling a large section of the book, that advances the story and provides the major key to the defeat of the alien race. It's also his friendship with Dr. Clemens and his people that gives him the army that ends up doing the actual fighting to save humanity. Steve actually even credits his dog and his dog's friendship, his dog Lazarus, with being the reason he stayed alive long enough to regain his sanity and save the world. The book is a subtle tribute to the power of friendship and how friends really make life worth living. It's all wrapped around an adventure with a great sense of humor. And it's one of the reasons I get to give the book 4 out of 4 stars. Published by Bean. You should go out and get it. You should get it now. Till next time, have a good one.